May 4th, 2024. Well, our favorite representative, Marjorie Taylor Greene, seems to be undeterred and is still trying to find some way to vacate the speakership of Mike Johnson. And of course, this is, as I point out, is a very stupid thing to do. I know that some other commentators are pretty much saying this, including such conservatives as Dan Bongino and probably almost everybody in the mainstream. I think even Donald Trump agrees with this, although it would be good if he were to give her a phone call and see if he can straighten her out. But anyhow, the situation, I guess, is that right now we have 217 Republican members of Congress, and I think right now we're at 213 Democrats with the latest win in New York. So that means it's a four vote margin, and so we really don't have much room to spare here. And the other issue is that she's too late. I mean, if you really were going to do this, you should have did it in the past. It should have been done before they passed the FISA thing, if that's one for objections, before they passed the budget bill, or before they passed the foreign aid bill. But they didn't. Doing it now is just a petty act of revenge. It has no positive effect at all on any of the issues that she's raising. So at this point, so essentially all the meaningful things are pretty much done for the moment, and at least until the next budget next fall, which is almost certain to be a continuing resolution, because there's any way that this Congress can get a good budget together at all. I mean, they failed last year, so why does anybody with more members, why do we think we'll do better this year? The idea is crazy. And the biggest problem, interestingly enough, for the conservative agenda is the ultra conservatives, and I guess to some degree the moderates. But the ultra conservatives are so unflinching, uncompromising that nothing can get passed. They're the ones that actually killed off what I would call the reasonable, pragmatic conservative agenda, during the McCarthy period, and essentially Johnson didn't have any better support than McCarthy had. Now, we could get into why did McCarthy make the deal on the foreign aid bill and all the rest of it. On FISA, looking at what's happening right now in our country, maybe we do need FISA. After all, there have been a lot of improvements to it that should prevent, as much as any legal issue could prevent, what happened to Donald Trump in the 2015-2016 period. However, I don't know that they would stop doing it even if it was against the law, frankly, because who's going to prosecute them? The people doing it are the same people that do the investigations and prosecutions. So is the Biden DOJ going to prosecute itself for violating the law? Probably not. so anyhow, that's my general thought. And as far as, and of course, I was pretty much pretty outspoken on the Ukraine aid bill, in that I thought we should definitely tie that to strong border security provisions here, and basically then leave it to the Senate to either take it or leave it. But in fact, that never happened. We never actually put the two together and managed to get it over the Senate for some reason. The result of which is, I presume, partly because essentially there were enough people in the Republican caucus you couldn't get it through. And remember, every Democrat would have voted against this. So we're kind of stuck with it. So now she wants to vacate the speakership. So that has basically very limited possibilities. One is, okay, it fails. And that's probably the most likelihood, because apparently the Democrats are planning to have enough people to vote it down that it never actually gets to be voted on, because they'll have a motion to recommit, or what they call it, and they'll vote with the Republicans on that, or at least enough of them will, to kill the thing, and therefore it doesn't go anywhere. Now, the de facto, we can talk about that Johnson is somehow dependent on the Democrats. I don't think as much as that yet, but he will be if you do that, because obviously the Democrats can change their mind at any moment if he doesn't go along with something they want. So putting him in that kind of position is a big mistake for any Republican that's thinking straight. I don't think she thinks straight at all. In fact, does she think? Well, she does sort of, but not very good. And then, so the other possibility is, okay, you succeed in vacating the guy, right? Okay, that's all great. But then what happens? Well, okay, can you pick a replacement? And if who's better? I mean, so Johnson was supposed to be better, right? Well, he evolved. And it's likely no matter who you pick now, that person will evolve too. If you pick Jim Jordan, you may like Jim Jordan now, but you probably won't like him in 2 or 3 months after you pick him because he'll be up to a new level of responsibility playing with the big boys, and it's going to happen again. Unless you have a really strong majority, you're not going to have this happen, I think, and with all the division. So I think the best thing to do if you're going to replace Johnson is do it next year if we win the majority, and if we don't win the majority, well, he won't be the speaker anyhow. So either way you look at it, this isn't something that needs to be done now, and it wouldn't be useful at this point. Then the worst case scenario, of course, is that the Democrats actually get the speakership because a few moderate Republicans finally make a coalition deal with the Democrats. I don't know what that deal would be, whether they can reach one or not. I'd hate to see them actually defect, or they may just get disgusted and resign. I mean, they've already had so many resignations, Buck, Gallagher, and other people. And so I don't think creating more turmoil is a good thing, really. It isn't helpful. And so anyway, that's what I think on that. By the way, if you like these videos, please give me a like. It helps the algorithm. Always looking for more subscriptions, and of course, you could also follow me on Rumble as well, where I post these. The name Corrality 452 is the same for both sites. So at any rate, that's kind of the direction we're thinking about this. I don't know what would really happen here. More than likely, in the near term, it sounds like the Democrats are planning on just giving Johnson a pass for the moment. But that pass will be very limited, and they're going to expect something in return for it. Not so much as he's making a backroom deal, but they can always threaten him with changing their mind on the next vote to vacate. And then, of course, we have this guy, Massey. Now, my opinion on Massey's one of these guys that likes to be said, I'm more principled than everybody else. Oh, I'm so principled. So I'm going to vote against everything that's conservative because it isn't conservative enough, or it isn't libertarian enough, or it does this, or it does that. You make up some excuse for it, and that's another thing about this Gosar character. I mean, that's another guy who's kind of, I don't know. Overall, I don't no, I mean, but it's kind of one of these malcontent type people, I think, that, if we had a 20 vote majority, these people would be all irrelevant and nobody even hardly listen to them. Don't get me wrong, I don't want him to resign. We need them in there too. We need every vote we have. And all this infighting, and we actually expelled one of our own members in an act of complete stupidity. And then he's replaced with a Democrat because, well, this is the kind of thing that these silly Republicans do, so we can only hope for the best. But anyway, that's my opinion on that subject. Well, anyway, so, and otherwise, I guess following up on my last video, all that's still going forward. We've had, at least there have been a lot of police actions at UCLA as well as other colleges in New York City and across the country. Texas and Florida are doing a lot better job on it, and other places, Tennessee. But that's kind of how it goes, so we'll see what happens on all that. Hopefully it'll mess up the Democrats in the long run. So at any rate, I'll post this on here on YouTube and Rumble, of course, and the description of my social media accounts are in the description below, all for this time.